View TV, new media with a difference. Welcome to the podium. It's your host, Spencer Anyenwelu, and I'm bringing you once again another wonderful program on the podium. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and all over social media platforms. The podium is a program that's on Prime View Television, and we come out weekly, and we aim to bring to you people of high caliber and people that make an impact in society. On today's program, I'm privileged, I'm delighted, and like I always say, I'm overwhelmed to be in the presence of one of, I would say, someone who's made waves in the black community in the UK. He's of Sierra Leonean descent. Honestly, he's an inspiration to a lot of people, even back in Africa and here in the UK. And what a privilege it is to be interviewing, I was going to put Sir Reginald Larry-Cole. He's the CEO of Wheels4Sure, BuytoletCars, and there's a third one, Lifestyle Bids. And I'm wonderful to have you on the program, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. I mean, we've heard a lot about you. I heard your advert on LBC at one stage. I was driving. I said, "Who's this white man?" And I didn't know. So eventually, when I got to know, I just said, "Wow, that's a fellow. What an inspiration!" So I wanted to know. It'd be good for you to tell people in the UK and fellow black people all over the world what your background is, how you came into business. Give us a bit of your background and tell us a bit about you.
So I guess the hunger started from when I was young. When I was young, I grew up in a beautiful estate in Sierra Leone. We had 3 houses in one compound. We had a fully staffed from chef. I'm talking about proper uniform chef to day security, night security, drivers, and so on. But then my dad had this office politics took over, and he resigned his position and started his own business. Now, when he started his own business, the then government, led by Sheikh Stevens, wanted to be part of that business. And my dad was simple. He said, "Listen, I'm a businessman. I'm not into politics. I'm not going to do this." Obviously, back then, like much of the world today, even when you have dictators in power, if you don't play their game, they know how to injure you, and that's what they did to my dad. So by the time I was in secondary school, all that affluence had gone. I found myself in a position where I was eating 1 meal a day, which was just white rice, plain white rice, with sugar on top as the sauce. So I used to come from school and just lay in my bedroom in my grandfather's house, and where my dad lived at the time now, and I would say to myself, one day I want that life for myself. I'm going to do whatever is legal and ethical, but I'm going to roll my sleeves to produce that life for myself and my children. So that's where the hunger came from.
Okay. And when you now eventually came to the UK, I don't know, at what age did you come here to
16.
At 16?
16, yes.
So after your secondary school, presumably you came over?
Right. Yes, that's right. So I came over at 16, started work in a factory. That's another thing as well. Today, the kids don't have the opportunity to work the way I did. Because I started working in a factory in South London, and 2 years later, with no parental help, no help to buy or whatever, I had my first home in Battersea, SW11. That home I checked the other day, I don't own it anymore, but it's now worth £451,000. I don't know many 18-year-olds that could do that today without parental guidance and so on. And this is a very serious topic that I'm going round. In fact, this weekend I'm fully engaged. speaking circuits, talking to people about, because I don't think a lot of people have awoken to the fact that the Western economy has changed forever. And people need to be awake, which is why I'm happy to do these interviews.
Yes, that's wonderful. We're really happy. And you know, as black people in the UK, we've always wondered, it's really difficult for a black man, or, you know, someone who's come through the background you told us, to make it and really get in, you know, be part of the society in terms of the business world.
Yes.
How did you manage to make your way in?
Okay, so in 2002, I was a business manager for Audi Wimbledon. Okay, and I decided, Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I decided self-actualization was what I wanted to attain by going to university in the evenings. Now, my siblings all went from school to university. I chose not to. I chose to work and figure out what I wanted to do. So about age 32, I decided to go to university night school. That sparked off office politics. My work. People were not happy that my boss had given me Mondays early off, Wednesdays early off, and Fridays. Now I recall what happened to my dad. I don't put up with that sort of nonsense. So I resigned. I resigned my position, and it took until December 2003 before I launched my first business. Now my businesses, as you can see, all the businesses today are 5-star rated on Trustpilot. My businesses just answer injustice, basically. And back then I formed a company that rivaled some of the biggest finance companies like Yes Car Credit and Welcome Finance, that were maltreating people and you know, charging people exorbitant rates and giving them rotten vehicles. So I came to market to do just in time, tailor-made package that you would approve of your own budget, what you can afford. We went with that, and so on. So that company, whilst at university, became a multi-million-pound concern. So in 2008, we were trending. The first quarter, we were done £1 million in that quarter, which is what we did 2 years prior for the whole year. We're now doing a quarter. So we're trending £5 million that year. But then I had a meeting with my accountant the first week of April. It was good. It was an all-day meeting. We were happy, excited. Well, then April 15, 2008 happened. So, well, what happened? Well, that's the day the credit crunch came to my door.
Stock market crash.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's the day I got a phone call from one of the companies that used to finance my customers to say that they're no longer going to be able to do that. They've got no money. The money market is frozen. So you went from a £500,000 revenue the previous month to zero on a phone call. So that turned my life upside down, naturally.
I can imagine,
Eventually, the long and short of that story was, I found myself on the dole queue. I lost everything in that period, and I found myself in the dole queue in the January of 2009. So imagine somebody that started work age 16, bought your first home age 18. All of a sudden now you're begging for food almost again, you know. But you know, perseverance and going through to venture capitalists and business angels and banks and family, wherever. I went across 3 continents. So I went from Africa, UK, Europe, and America, trying to raise money to start this business that we're in now. And I got 150 no's. In fact, I wrote the book here, Compassionate Capitalism. Okay, you can get this on my website, reginaldlarrycole.global, or Amazon as well, direct. And it tells the story of the journey going through no after no. So you asked the story about a black man. In that time, I had meetings where I remember one particular guy, his name is Kevin, and he worked for an advisory group in Tower Hill. Kevin called me a couple of nights before to say, Reg, he says, if I could see a done deal, this will be it. So this deal is done. The guy is over the moon. He wants to do business, no problem. We went to the meeting. I had my accountant with me. Big boardroom, bigger than this. Everybody was sat down. We were just waiting now for this check to arrive. So guy came in and they introducing people, meet this, meet this, meet this person, meet this person. And it came to me. Now immediately, as the guy said, meet Reginal Larry-Cole, the man behind the proposal, this man shut down straight away. It's like a glass. Because as far as he was concerned, didn't say it out loud, but his demeanor in the meeting would tell you that he didn't care to do business with a black person. So that's that. The answer to the problem is this. Your blackness is not going to go away.
True.
Let's accept that. Society will never be just to you. Now, the way I overcome it is I don't take it personal. What I mean by that is this. It hurts. I don't take it personal. I know that difference of pigmentation can create a problem, but I also know that in Northern Ireland, blue-eyed boy, blonde hair killed blue-eyed boy, blonde hair.
True, of course.
I know in the Middle East, olive skin is killing olive skin.
That's true.
I know in Africa,
Blacks are
one
black
tribe is killing the other
Even
tribe.
in London, black on black crime.
Black on black. So, what do you do that? What do you do with that information? Difference of opinion is going to be there.
Yeah.
It's going to be there. And what I learned to overcome was, if I was trying to reach this bottle, Spencer, and that bottle is closer to you, you have less of an effort to get the bottle.
True.
My goal is the bottle. I'm not looking at the advantage that you have. My focus is, this is a bottle I want.
That's true.
So I will do whatever. If I have to get up quicker, if I have to stretch my hand before you, I'll get the bottle. The bottle is my focus, not your advantage.
That's true.
Your advantage is a given.
Yes.
So that's the way I've lived my life. Wherever I've worked, it's the same thing. I've worked. I was watching some of my papers the other day. Couple of jobs that I had to resign from, and I had to resign undercover because when I go to work to perform, and therefore when I want to leave, the bosses don't want you to leave. You know what I mean? So that's key. Accept it that you have to work harder than the next man. But what is important? Is it the bottle or the next man? Because the next man is still going to have the advantage. So you got to make up your mind what you want, focus on that, and do whatever it takes legally and ethically to get it.
Yes. And you know, we have our African heritage. I mean, most of us can look back in Africa and see the I call it a bit of ruts that's going on in Africa.
Yeah.
Where there's a leadership void.
Yes.
You know, and I'm wondering what people like you that are out in the Western world, in diaspora per se, how are you reaching out to some people in Africa to try and help get this leadership, get the leadership back in that's lacking?
Okay, this is good information. This is very good information, and I hope somebody out there is listening that will be affected. The leadership in third world countries, forget Africa for the minute, so we can see how broad this is. Anywhere there is natural resource is destabilized on purpose.
Okay.
One book I'll recommend people read, or one author, is a guy called John Perkins, Perkins. Okay. He used to be part of a squad they call the Economic Hitmen.
Okay.
Their job is wherever there is minerals. There are people out here in the world, governments included, I wouldn't name them, that their job is to destabilize that country. We see what's happening in Venezuela. We see what's happening in Ecuador. We see what's happening in Iraq. We see what's happening in Libya. It's the same.
Yeah.
Now, what's my point? Wherever there's been a stand-up leader that wants to protect the interest of their country, that leader is either compromised by bribery or killed.
Yes.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Thomas Sankara fed his people in 18 months. He was able to get Burkina Faso to be self-sufficient. And they toppled it.
True.
So this is a big thing we all need to be aware of, unless we come together with one accord and one voice.
Yeah.
You see a pencil, I could take a pencil and I could break a pencil. But if I have 5, 6 of them together, it's hard to break. So the divide and conquer has really worked well.
Yeah.
For the people that wanted it to be that way. They have divided and they've conquered. I mean, you got Sierra Leone, small place, 7 million people, and 13, 14, 15 different derelicts. And people fighting each other over tribes. Instead of focusing
and coming together
on the country and say this is the country. Let's North is fighting South fighting West. It's crazy. So people are not awake to the fact that the divide and conquer is a real and present thing, and it has worked.
Yeah.
So you say, how I reach out to leadership? Well, I attempted to participate in the election in 2016.
Okay.
And I spoke my mind. I went out there and I campaigned, and I'm hated for that, even though I was saying the truth, my truth at least. So it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. Education has been watered down. I went to some of the schools that I used to attend. I went to one particular secondary school, and they have no library, a place where we used to sit and talk and play and read. There's no books in the library. The library is all dusty. There's no labs. So when you got people that are watered down mentally, just a plate of rice is enough for them. As long as they can eat, anything goes.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. And moving back into business again.
Yes.
I was thinking about people in the UK. Back to UK. If we have someone who's wanting to start up his own business, listening to you today, what would you say is well, there's no easy way to go into business, but what steps could you say? I know you have your leadership talks and all that. Yeah. But what steps would you say that is easy that will guide a person to make it?
The first thing I'll say is, please do not go into business to make money.
Okay.
If you have your goal as making money, you're on the wrong side of the tracks already.
Okay.
A girl goes out, I like to use this crude example so that people can understand. A girl goes out to a club and he meets a gentleman. Maybe 2-3 years later, they end up getting married. They're very successful. Another girl goes out, she's meeting a gentleman tonight, but it's for cash. Same act is being done.
Yeah.
One is done out of love, one is done out of money.
True.
I tell my people that work for me, we've got 5 offices, so we've got about 30 staff. I say to them, listen, when you come to work, love your work. If you don't love your work, I say these words, I do, in my training session, I say, you're just a work prostitute. And that repels your spirit. If you're just coming in for the paycheck, you're not going to make it. If you're just following the money, you're not going to make it. So my point is, what you're doing, be willing to do it for free. You must be so passionate about it. I could talk about cars all day long for free. Yeah. You could take me down to a car dealership to help you out, or go to BCA for free because I've got the passion for it. You understand? So you got to take you got to take your passion and give it your drive. The simplest thing, you give it your drive, and that's what's going to carry you through. But the other thing I want to say, just to help the black people that you're asking me to help here, I see a lot of people not willing to apply the attitude when they start small. Okay? They want to be big.
Yeah.
They want to have an office, on a high rise before they think, oh, now I've arrived, now I could give good customer service. No. You start as you meant to go on. Steve Covey in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Habit number 1 is you have to be proactive. Habit number 2 is you have to begin with the end in mind. What that means is everything.
Yeah.
So we were serving our clients when we had 1 car on the road as if we had 5,000 cars on the road.
Yeah.
Didn't make a difference.
True.
Okay, that client did not need to know that, hold on a minute, you're my only 1 customer. So I'm not going to even, if I don't pick up my phone, tough. No. You have to start. I see a lot of that shortage in black businesses. The other point, the black community hasn't got the capital, mainly because we're mainly consumers and not producers. That's number 1. Number 2, we're so segregated. We're not together. So a Nigerian community wouldn't necessarily work with a Sri Lankan community or Ghanaian community and so on and so forth. So this money is diluted. This capital is diluted, right?
True.
So the chances, although not impossible, but the chances of us building an Amazon or Facebook is really, really high. Well, really low rather, in terms of executing that. But I know barbers that in 1992, a book by the guy called John McCormack, Self-Made in America. In 1992, that guy, he had barbers, making $100,000 a year. That's in 1992. Now money doubles every 10 years. So in 2002, that would have been 200,000. In 2012, that would have been 400,000.
Millions, really.
Yeah, exactly. Now here's my point. I've talked about taking the simplest thing and giving it your drive.
Yes.
Who knows how to make chicken more than a black person? Nobody.
True.
Where's our own chain of chicken shops?
Well, I think not really, not many. Like, you mean international ones? We don't. I know in Africa they have some, like in Nigeria they have a few outlets here and there, but we haven't seen it in a global scale. That's what you're talking about.
I know no harder worker than the African barber.
True.
But they're not millionaires.
They're not, yeah.
All right? So I've given that book to several barbers. They haven't even bothered to read it.
Yeah.
In there, that book is the syllabus to multi-million pound business if you're a barber and you love what you do.
Yeah.
100%.
True.
100%. Even me, I don't have much hair and I go to the barber every 2 weeks. You know, my cleaner.
So it's a staple. It's something that people you need it weekly.
My cleaner came from Romania. When I met her in 2010, she'd only been in the country 7 years or so.
Yeah.
She's still my cleaner. In fact, she was at my home today. That's another point.
Yeah.
Let me segue through this. One second. So I invited cleaners in my home in Mitcham after I'd lost everything, Mrs. Gone. I put an advert in an off license. One girl came. She was mixed race. She said, "Oh well, I can do it, but I can't do it on the times that you want." Or what? Okay, that's fine. 2 black girls came, and they were just outrageous in their cost and whatever it is. It was just me to clean my house one day a week. This girl, this cleaner that I have now from Romania, put a leaflet through my door. I called her. She came with a little baby, Olivia. I said, you know, you got cleaning company? She said, yeah, I used to clean up in town, but now that I've got the baby, I'm at home. I'm going to watch the baby and so on and so forth. So I'm looking for local work. She lives in Streatham. I'm telling you now, that woman, the only person she works for now, herself, is me. So she cleans all the 5 offices. She cleans my
business. So she has a private business, really, now.
Yeah. No, but wait.
In a way.
Wait. Some of the stuff that I shared with her, and some of the stuff she listened to while she was in my house, and I'm listening to stuff or whatever. She's a millionaire today.
Oh.
Like I say, the only person she actually herself works for today, it's me.
Yeah.
But she works for other people because she's got staff. But the only house she does.
Oh, you mean like a personal house? It's your house.
It's my house.
Yeah. Now she's grown. She's big.
Oh, she's the other day I was in the house and she showed me one house that they just bought and what they've done with it, and I just marvel. And this is cleaning.
Yeah.
So you don't look down on what the job is. At the end of the day, what am I? Really, when you strip it all down, I'm just a car salesman. I don't know how many car salesmen drive Rolls Royces. I really don't.
Yeah.
Okay, you see, but that's it. You take the simplest thing. People are waiting to get to this big thing. You know, somebody knows how to cook jollof rice or whatever it is. Why don't you make a trade out of that?
True.
Everybody needs to eat.
Yeah.
You know how to do hair. I went to a house in Maryland. In August, Maryland, USA, went for a wedding. So this traditional dress that you wear, we call it ashobi.
Yeah.
So this one Cameroonian girl was doing it. She's got 4 kids. Went down to her basement, and she does everything herself. We talked as business people. She said she makes about $150,000 a year just doing this. That's all she does. But I'm sitting there, I didn't disturb her spirit because there was other people. I'm sitting there thinking, you could make a whole lot more if you just open your...
You could expand it.
If you just open your mind, get the models, get the design, sublet it somewhere else for them to sew.
Yeah.
Instead of you doing it, staying up all night, several people, you got to duplicate.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Ray Kroc, the founder Well, he wasn't the actual founder, but the guy that ran away with McDonald's.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he had just stayed in California?
It would have been just a small.
Would you fly to California to buy a Big Mac?
It would have been a small burger shop in there. Exactly.
You got to duplicate yourself.
True.
You see, when Jesus came, he found 12.
Yes, you have to expand.
You have to duplicate yourself.
Yeah, and one other thing you mentioned about the black community not being together. This is something that we always talk about, but we talk about it, but nothing is done. How can we look at the Turkish community? We look at the Jewish community. We see even the Asians. How come we're not able? I know you mentioned a bit about why, some of the reasons, but what is the real reason why? Let's say, for instance, on Streatham High Street, we can't own the row of shops. We've seen it done in other communities, wow, and they own it in our communities. So why are we not able to own it in ours? What's the problem?
Well, this problem goes back since the beginning of time. And there's one person, I'm a Christian, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, but I don't choose who I learn from. Because when you go to the hospital, if there's an operation, you don't ask the surgeon, are you
serious? No,
exactly. You just get on with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I am like that with my learning. I learn from different people. Irrespective of their religious beliefs and so on. Okay, Malcolm X gave a speech called "Who Taught You to Hate Yourself?" in 1962. I listened to that speech coming from Portsmouth the other day, 2 days ago, after my seminar. And I listen to it frequently.
Yeah.
I recommend every black person listen to that speech and take notes. Because all what's happening to us now, he gave the answers in 1962.
Well,
but we're just not paying attention.
I've actually never listened to it. I'll go out and
Please,
listen. Yeah, I will.
Who taught you to hate yourself? And when you finish that, listen to the next one, the ballot or the bullet. All what's happening today, he laid down. Success leaves clues. The clues are in books, they're in audio tapes, but we're not listening. Somebody said something the other day, this morning, said Beyonce went round singing all the single ladies and then went home to Jay-Z. I used to say that. I said to the person on Instagram, I don't know the guy that said it, I said, I used to say that years ago when that song came out. I said, all the single ladies, they do this or whatever. But then she's going home married. Okay? So we're easily led. It's what we are. We're easily led. We want the latest fashion. Tommy Hilfiger said he didn't want people wearing his clothes, black people. We still wear it. We don't wear our own fashion. We're easily led because we don't know who we are.
True.
In the Bible, the people of Cush, were the people that God placed first. Somehow, and those people were black, we found ourselves on the reverse. Because
is it slavery? Do you attribute it to slavery, slave mentality? Is it, why are we not able to emerge since the abolition of slavery, really? I know in the United States, for instance, we have a lot of black people doing successful black people, but we haven't seen this convergence. You know what I'm talking about? Like in London, for instance, we should see rows of shops that you go there, like chicken shops, not a black owner. Why are we not seeing that?
Yes. And what people don't understand, I'll come to your question, but just so I don't forget this point, what people don't understand, when we do it singly, right, on a single basis, then we limit ourselves. Then we become more expensive because from the supplier point of view, I'm coming and buying a crate of this stuff because it's just for my shop. What the Indians do, they put together a consortium. So they go and say, we want 100 crates of this. Come on, you're not going to charge me 10p, 5p, but I want 100 crates. So now they take the 100 crates, disperse it into their shop.
They can all sell it, and they got the market.
All right. So we're missing that because we want to do it all by ourselves. Me, myself here, I don't know how many black people I have. I do have a few, but I don't know how many I have in my customer database. My business is a non-color business. It's universal. That's fine. But I don't know, I don't know how many. I don't know how many people actually my missus always talks about it. I say, you go out and support the community. They're not supporting you. I say, well, I do it for a different reason. You know what I mean? My motivation is different. I'm just doing it because I remember my days when, I needed to see black people doing well. And especially when I went through the credit crunch. And, the only person that had a light for me that was not a footballer or a musician was Barack Obama. Was my only light.
Yeah, inspiration. Yeah.
Because I couldn't see anybody. Everybody's hiding their stuff on the bushel. But I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Because when you come out and show what you can do, you know what people say? You're showing off.
Yeah. Okay.
They're not looking at. Some people are getting inspired. By what you're doing.
True.
So the answer to the question is, we're fragmented, so we're not going to get economies of scale. We're not going to gain that because we're not together.
We haven't got the collective bargaining power. Yeah.
Thank you. So, you put it nicely. That's it. That's why you're the journalist. Me and pass it on.
No, you're right. And one more thing, moving back to business now, is I'd like you to tell us about, because I was reading up about your business, the Wheels4Sure and the BuytoletCars, how they're related, the investment. Because I'd like you to, because when I was reading, I was saying to Marlene earlier that I'd like to invest in this. It sounded so interesting. So tell us a bit more about that.
Okay, that's okay. So they say necessity is the mother of invention. That's what they say. So I came up with a new word. New line, frustration is the father of progress. Okay. So after 4 years of knocking on bankers' doors, of which, let's just be fair, the only black people I saw were the receptionists. When you went into the boardroom, it was all white guys. Okay, so fact, not making it up. I decided to put an advert in the Sunday Times on March 11, 2012. Put an advert in the Sunday Times to say, right, if banks are not doing this, as a business manager for Audi, my job was to do what I'm doing now, but with banks' money. So you would come in to buy a car, and you might have cash. You might say, I've got cash. Now I'm saying, keep your cash. You need the cash for cash flow. Let me show you a way where you can finance this thing, and you pay on a monthly basis. Use your cash for something else, right? Okay, so that was my job. Reason being, the banks were making money on the back of you signing the paper. But then the dealership was getting a commission from the banks as well. So it was a two-way street between them.
A win-win for them too.
For them. You might win if you have some other investment to do with your cash, but most people don't. So they're just paying that interest to the bank. Now, so BuytoletCars came as a result of the bank saying, no, we're not going to give you the capital that you need, and so on. So I put an advert in. 12 people responded to that advert on the very first day. The very first person that responded asked on his email, he says, where am I in the pecking order of the people that responded to this? I said, you're number one. You're the first one that came in. He said, okay, well, let's keep it that way. He said, send me all the financial documents that I need, and I'll look at it with my people. If it makes sense, we'll book an appointment to come down to London and see, because he lives up in Rugby. His name is Chris Hughes. So, true to his word, a couple of days later, I was at work. Back then it was BlackBerry. Got an email. Yep, let's have a meeting. We met. I was ready. Another point, preparation. A lot of people send me proposals. First off, that's another thing. That's abuse, by the way. I'll talk about that on another day. But a lot of people just send proposal. Here's what I did. I didn't just put that advert in the press. I had prepared a comprehensive website that explained what BuytoletCars was, what Wheels4Sure was. Over and above that, I had a summary of the financials as I saw it. But then you could have had the full financials if you requested it, like he did.
So you had a business plan basically on.
So I was prepared. But not only prepared, I had shown him whilst he was sat at home there, he had seen for himself what this is all about. A lot of people try to just talk. I tell my people all the time, use your tools. When somebody has eyes to see and ear to hear, they want everything. They want to see everything. So show them everything. Don't let them start imagining over the phone how it's going to work. Because you're giving the person a hard time. You're thinking, okay, how does this work? He had everything. So by the time he came to the meeting, it was a formality to meet me and to run through the 25-minute presentation that I had. After 3 hours of him asking all kinds of questions under the sun, he literally just said, right, I'm going to give you the money, because the deal was, you give me 100,000 today, in 3 years' time, I'm going to give you £1 million. But whilst you're giving me the 100,000, I want you to hold 25% equity in the business.
Yeah. Once you return the
money, you give me back my equity. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. In July 2015, it's in the book, Chris came to London, picked up his Jaguar, which I bought from a brand new Jaguar XE as a gift. Brand new. We ordered it 6 months prior. Got his money, he signed over my 25%, and he walked away. I said he walked away, we're still together like this. Oh yeah, he comes to my seminars if I go up north and so on and so forth. So, and that was done on a handshake. He refused to sign a legal paperwork. Total stranger.
Wow.
He just said, we don't need that. He said, we don't need that. He says, if you run away with this money, it will damage you more than it will damage me. So
yeah, true. And he was right. Yeah.
He was right. So yeah. So that's how Buy-to-let. So Buy-to-let. All you're doing is you're replacing the bank. The banks, I could show you if we had time. Banks will take £3,000 of your money.
Yep. Give
it to a car finance company. Okay. That car finance company will go down to an auction. This is real stuff. This is not hypothetical. Yeah. We'll go down to an auction, buy a car that's worth maybe late 2,000, maybe 3,000. They'll put it on their forecourt, mark it up 100% at 5,995. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They will sell you that car, Spencer, on 49.6% APR as a minimum.
Wow.
So this car that was worth £3,000 today, which is 6, 7, 8 years old, out of warranty, mileage might have been touched, might have been 1 in 4 cars have been through an accident, 1 in 4 used cars might have been not declared. Yeah. You're gonna pay now with your hard earned cash, £11,000 by the time you pay the 2,900 a month. 11,000. But wait. This car, because it's so old now, and they have all this modern technology, the ECUs, it's going to pack up on you, several times during that period. Yeah. So you're paying a premium for a product that's not even performing. But here's the thing: the finance company gets their money, the bank gets their money. The only loser is you.
Yeah.
You the customer.
Yeah.
What we did with that was, because whilst I was in university, long before people knew what the credit crunch, what subprime was, I wrote my dissertation in 2006 on the subprime market. It's a market that I'd seen in America, so I wrote my dissertation on that. Even my professor did not understand what subprime was. So what's that? I had to go explain, honestly.
Wow.
And the one thing that I found out was, people don't mind paying the premium when they got a credit challenge. They don't mind, but they want the asset to work. Okay. That nurse wants, when she's ready to go drop the kids to school, start and go. Yeah. Okay. So then I figured out, I see. If I'm going to do this business, I'm going to do it with brand new cars. So that if they break down in the middle of Wales, they don't have to call Wheels4Sure. They can just go, if they're driving a Nissan, they'll just go to Nissan. If they're driving a Hyundai, go to Hyundai. They'll sort it all out there because they've got the network.
The package is all built in part of it. Yeah.
Correct. So Buy-to-let Cars is what funds the cars at Wheels4Sure.
Okay.
That's the asset. We then lease out the vehicles to people like nurses, key workers, teachers, Transport for London workers, train drivers, that sort of thing in the main, social care workers, and so on. They get a brand new car, does not scream bad credit. They get peace of mind because the car comes with manufacturer's warranty. It comes with 3 years worth of service as well in the price, not in addition. And then over there in that section over there, we've got our finance team that reports their payment profile. So we're helping them. They're doing 2 things. They're driving a brand new car with peace of mind. They're getting their credit repaired at the same time.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's what we do. So all the cars, we were just running some figures just now, me and my co-director Scott, we've raised £62 million. We've paid back £42 million so far because ongoing payments every month. All the cars that we have been funded by people like yourselves.
Okay. So if I wanted to invest, for instance, what's the process? How do I you know, because I was reading, I was thinking, is this something people can get involved in?
Yeah,
it's a 3-year investment.
It's a 3-year
plan.
hold, so it's quite easy. So you choose a level of investment that you're comfortable with. So we start from £7,000 and go unlimited. Okay. So, but the most common ones are level 2, which is 9%, £14,000. You put £14,000, and level 3, which is £28,000. That £14,000 funds 1 car. £28,000 funds 2 cars, so you have 2 cars. Now, here's what you get: you get a monthly payment. On level 1, you get $250 a month, so you're getting your return back of your capital. So a lot of people, when you talk about cars, they think, oh, by the way, when you talk about buy-to-let cars, the first thing that comes to mind, people say, oh, they depreciate.
Yeah.
You see, this is because, again, I say we don't stop to think. This is it. Because everything depreciates.
Yeah, over time, yeah.
Everything depreciates. Okay, a plane, happen to own a jet program with NetJets, okay? A plane sat on the runway in Biggin Hill is depreciating and not being put to use because it's not commercial. It's private. But its commercial use is generating in excess of depreciation. That's what we do with the cars. So 90% of cars that you see on the road today in the UK are funded through finance. Yeah. People don't pay cash.
True.
As a matter of fact, if you want to know how true that is, just observe, even when you're going on your way, observe how manufacturers now advertise cars. They don't advertise the price anymore. They advertise, you put 249 down, you pay 249. That's it. That's it. Okay, that's how people are funding the cars. And that's your money at work.
Yeah.
But how much is the bank giving you? I went to my bank today to do something. I know how much they're giving me. 0.00%.
Yeah, true. Yeah? The percentage is terrible. Yeah, very low, very low.
So what does that mean? That means if inflation, the official rate of inflation is 3%, and your bank is giving you 0%, you're losing 3% on a monthly basis on your money.
That's true. Yeah.
So you might as well crack a cigar bottle, a cigar box, and start smoking it, because that's what you're doing. You're losing it by parking it in the bank. So
and one more thing, sorry. How many people? What kind of people can invest? People from Africa? Can they, like you? Because I know a few of my friends who've spoken about you, and they said for instance, they live in Nigeria and they have money. They're thinking they're looking for investment purposes, and they hear it's in the UK, it's a bit more secure.
Yes.
Can they do that, or they can't?
No, you see, we're guided.
You have to be within.
We're guided by the regulator. So somebody that has lived in the UK, for example, has residency here.
Yeah.
We can still find on a not credit search, but a anti-money laundering search here. They got a recent utility bill. It doesn't matter where they live. They can do business, but not a total straight. Because one of the key things is the money must come from a UK bank account, and we can only pay into a UK bank account. Okay. So that restrict. We get calls from Saudi Arabia and places like that, Dubai. Yeah. But we can't.
Okay. And I wanted to mention this. Our magazine. This is one of our affiliate company. Yes. I mean, a parent company to Prime Television. Yes. Montage Africa. They're gonna be giving you an award, leadership award.
Thank you.
So hopefully, it's on the 17th of December.
Fantastic.
Hopefully, we've seen you there. And
I'll make sure I'm around. By God's grace.
Yeah, it's gonna be in Dorchester Hotel. Yeah, and then there's the initial speech, leadership discussion. Right. Is gonna be in the House of Parliament. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so that's going to be. So we really love to see you there. Fantastic. Hopefully, have an opportunity to speak to because it's something a lot of black people will be happy to see. Yes. Another one who's part of this system. Yes. Who's making an impact in the lives of people here. Yes. Speaking back.
We might look to do some advert with you guys. We'll talk later.
Yes, please. Yes, if you could, it'd be wonderful.
See what happens.
Yes. And finally, before we go, what would be your advice? In London there's this knife crime, there's this black on black crime like we mentioned earlier. I mean, what would be your word of caution and word of advice to the young black men growing up in this country? Okay,
my advice is to parents, to the young black men themselves: listen, the government is not going to take care of you. The government has so much trouble themselves now. I'm talking about all the West, because there's been a shift in wealth where the East is now the king. Never mind what they're telling you. Half of London is owned by China. So it is in New York. Our biggest creditor is the Chinese.
True.
Okay? They're gone. They have 1.3 billion people in their economy. They got several million in the army. Their goal this decade is to make 450 million millionaires. And their state is backing them. Unlike the Western economy, they're state backed. So they have someone that has an idea, the state comes in and pushes. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. So what you lack hope. You see, when you lack hope, you put yourself in a position where you can be stabbed, or you don't mind stabbing somebody because really there's no more value attached to you.
Yeah.
You don't mind what happens to you.
True.
So what can you do? We'll go back to the top. You might never be able to build a Google right now. You might never be able to build a Tesla car right now. But you do know how to cut hair. Some of you do know how to cook. If you take those jobs seriously and decide to build a business around it, all of a sudden, you're going to put value on your life. My chauffeur used to drive for Gordon Ramsay. Why did I hire him? He's a close protection officer, ex-army, ex-police. I put value on my life. So I don't want somebody just to drive me around. I want somebody who's going to protect me
while he's driving.
Whilst he's driving, because I have value to my life.
Yes.
So if you put value in your life, you won't put yourself in that position. Oh, by the way, the other big thing is these rappers that are trying to give you that life. Do you see how they live?
They live very well.
Do you see how they live? Look at Puff Daddy. Look at Dr. Dre. Their families live well. The music is a product to get them there. They're not telling you to go enact the music.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what I'll do. Define the lifestyle that you want. And let me tell you, anything you want, you can achieve. I repeat that. Anything you want, you can achieve if you want it bad enough and you're willing to pay the price. So the thing to define is, you want that latest Nike trainers, define it. You want to live in an apartment in Canary Wharf, define it. You want to drive a flashy Mercedes, define it, write it all down. Then find your passion, whatever that is, and your passion is not knifing one another. Find your passion and follow it through. The Prince's Trust has loans that they give, but you got to show ambition.
True.
You can't go in there with your knife.
No.
Okay, you got to show ambition. That knife leads to two places, death or jail.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's what I'll say. You know, I've tried to reach the mayor. I've even sent my book. I've got to give it to them. They sent me a nice thank you letter because, listen, I've got kids.
Yeah.
Right? As much as you can control your kids, they sometimes want to go out with their friends.
Of course, yeah.
So this is a very present danger for all of us. This is not by how much money you've got.
Yeah.
They could be down in central London shopping and, you know, kids will be kids and something happens, okay? So it's something that I'm very conscious about. And the devil, who can be anybody, the devil incarnate, the devil against your society, they know if they finish the man, they finish the race.
True.
Because if you can cut the men down,
that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So understand and get yourself aware. You can get wealth. You can have the nice things without killing each other. You can. Yeah. That's it.
Reginald Larry-Cole, it's been wonderful being on the podium.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for being on.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Yes, we've been talking to Reginald Larry-Cole, the CEO of Wheels4Sure, BuytoletCars, and life bid. Oh, by the way, you didn't talk about. Sorry, on the next interview, perhaps. Yes, lifestyle bids, and it's been a wonderful pleasure being with us. Please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, on Instagram, and all the social media networks. We have our other programs, the Golden Pot of Hope, as well, the charitable programs. Please keep watching us, and until next time, it's bye from me. Welcome to 280 Degrees African Restaurant and Bar. Our well-trained and polite staff are at the ready to serve your favorite alcoholic beverages and cocktails. We pride ourselves in providing exquisite and authentic Nigerian cuisine in a classy ambient environment. Music is supplied by the finest DJs in London, and security is tight but polite. Our opening times are Sundays to Thursdays 1 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays 1 p.m. to 3 a.m. We are centrally located at number 280 Kilburn High Street, London NW6 2BY. For phone bookings and takeaway orders, please call 0207 328 8832. 280 degrees, where the noble class hang out. Prime View TV, new media with a difference.